Alright everyone, let's jump into game number 1, looking for work against Sleeping Dragon, the third place decider best of 5 series of Division S North America playoffs. And boy do we have a draft. I mean, seriously, what is happening here? Looking for work with Fury on Abathur, we have Dark Chimera on the Fruit Fly, Casanova on Tracer, Swaps Megu on Chen, and Droplets on Zeratul. I mean, as if this draft was not only already crazy enough, Sleeping Dragon, they actually decided to go into the full NA build with the double support Uther main tank. Enigmatic plays Genji, we have Treebeard on Greyman, Elheim on Rega, Shot on Uther, and Corgi Booty is playing Blaze. So it is actually going to be a bit insane here. And, I mean, it is widely known that I hate Brightwing for obvious reasons. I mean, the Fruit Fly is just an atrocious hero and needs to be eliminated wherever possible. But I gotta admit that this comp that they are playing here right now is actually one of the few where the Fly can find a little bit of value. So Trashwing in this setup has actually a couple of purposes. And this is a build that was played back in the old days a lot, and there's a pretty simple reason why. You have Zeratul roaming the map, for example, and you can pretty much turn any single lane into a 1v4 within seconds. All that you have to do is you sneak over with Zeratul somewhere, you have the Abathur head on top of you. Well, there's the first kill already against Rhaegar, despite the fact that they have a double support. So you can just easily move onto a lane with Zeratul, for example. Abathur jumps onto Zeratul with a copy, and then Brightwing portals in. So you can really just control the entire map. You can be all over the place with this if you play your cards right, because you have more or less a double global with Abathur and with Brightwing, and in addition to that, a roaming Zeratul to boot. So it's an incredibly annoying composition if you face off against an opponent that knows how to do it, and you are never really safe on the lanes either. You sometimes think there's only one hero. Just imagine, for example, that Chen on the lane gets ganked. All that the blue team has to do is get a symbiote over there and portal Brightwing in, and all of a sudden it's pretty much a 3 versus whatever. So really, really strong setup if you have a team that's good at it. Then again, Trashwing is still pretty trash, and at this point it seems like Dark Chimera might actually experience that firsthand, and yeah, eventually the Fruit Fly is gonna fall, and guys, we're gonna capture this in zoom as well. Nice. Die, Fruit Fly, die. Alright, but despite that fact, I mean, we're still having the fight raging on, and now Swaps Mikuta is getting some help too, but they're going for the second kill, and bam, down they go. The early game sustain that we're seeing from Sleeping Dragon is obviously pretty solid, thanks to the double support. So they get the 2 kills after initially losing a hero. And now we have also, in terms of build, the good old auto-attack build for Zeratul for droplets that has been championed and pioneered by Tai in the European scene. So we have the newly changed Shadowhunter, where now the cooldown reduction has been increased to 1.5 seconds on the auto-attacks, and the psionic strength as well, right there. Attack against Rhaegar again, the bomb connects, but the doggy is still alive and doesn't go down here. On level 4, we're seeing the Stormcaller, so an attempt at mana managing through the talent. Brightwing so far going into a full polymorph build, heading straight on level 1 into the greater polymorph, and then also into the unstable anomaly. So really trying to control Genji, for example, too, through that setup, and adding the extra damage. First tribute is on the map, and with this we could see both of the teams jumping onto this. There is a slight leading experience that we now see for Sleeping Dragon, so the order is slightly ahead right now. Dark Chimera on Brightwing, and does Rhaegar get the kill? Well, maybe not. Casanova is also low, both of them are in trouble, and the target to die is actually Tracer. Zeratul has fallen in the meantime as well, has been eliminated by Greymane, and the fight isn't over yet by any means. Now we're seeing another hero die. The Fruit Fly is dead once more, and that's the end of Greymane. Well, actually, sorry, of Chen. I was about to say the end of Greymane. I was looking at Genji and thinking that he might fall as well, but that's not the case. 6 kills against 1, and now we have 7 as a talent on the board for the red team. So the early game isn't currently going looking for work's way, but I still have to throw that little caveat in that with this combo, you can be absolutely dominant on the macro level. So if the map opens up and forts go down, there is a chance for them to play around this. And yes, this is the aggression that I was mentioning earlier. You see, it's exactly what I talked about. You jump onto a lane, you just portal it with Brightwing, you get the Abathur symbiote in, and all of a sudden it's party time. So they get the kill against Rhaegar. The little doggy is dead again, but they are clawing their way only back because they're still a lead for Sleeping Dragon, as they have a level advantage over their opponent right now. Seeker in the Dark has been used. We have actually Jumper in this case on the level 7 for Tracer. And besides that, for Genji, we're already talking about the perfect defense. We have also a double cleanse now, one for Rhaegar and the other one for Uther. Which is interesting to say the least, because, I mean, I gotta be brutally honest here, there's not that much to cleanse out. Don't get me wrong, you find value of the cleanse here. I just would have totally expected that one of the two would move away from a cleanse. If you have both heroes in the setup, I could have totally seen them just say, okay, listen, we only need one cleanse for the team fight. That's going to be doing enough. We don't have any hard stuns against ourselves. There's obviously some slows to work with and also the polymorph, but at the same time, not quite sure if you need to double cleanse there, really. So, we'll find out how that's going to work out for them in the long run. There comes the stun against Chen, first of all. Trying to make the play here. Brightwing comes in, and wisely, they're moving away. There's still a bit of a fight happening at the bot lane. Those two Siege Giants are strictly defended by Treebeard, but Droplets gets the assistance from Abathur, and that makes things a little bit more tricky right now. We're having also an attack against Shot here, Mr. Main Tank in the middle. And if you're actually watching this and you're saying like, what the hell is Khaldor talking about? It's pretty much that North America at some point just said, you know what? Uther's a tank. And then they started to play Uther in a tank position and added a second support to it too. I mean, Uther is quite sustainable, has an extra stun, which is something that most tanks need to bring to the fight. And yeah, they've been playing this ever since. Europe tried it a couple of times, adjusted it, never really fell onto that particular wagon. Easy tribute, by the way, through the levels 10 ability for the red team. But yeah, and North America loves it. They still play it. So they played some stuff of that during the HGC times. Never really measured up on the international level to the extent that they were expecting it. But within the North American region, it is still a bit of a staple that comes out every now and then. Slight attack down at the bottom. Genji should be able to get away here easily, but still having a fight over towards the top though, as they're trying to go for Chen. Can't take him down, and the red team is busying themselves around scabs again. Now, as I said, they have the lead. This is actually an interesting setup, because Brightwing is at the bot lane, Zeratul is there too. But they're now trying to get... This is not... I don't see this happening at all. They are already spotted, not only by Tracer, but Abathur knew it immediately thanks to a Toxic Nest. And now, guess what? Brightwing is gonna portal in, Fury is gonna be there. They are actually taking this and trying to teamfight here. I don't understand what's happening, but Sleeping Dragon is fucking up massively in my opinion. They seem to believe they can win this teamfight easily, but that is already leashing, so they're not going to get the boss. Here comes the X-Strike, but Genji is down. Fury is now eliminated on the copy, but can now assist with the symbiote. And yeah, they just lost the they lost the time that they invested into the boss. They lost one hero, and they might lose a little bit more. So that was more than telegraphed. I mean, this was pretty much an invitation to fight, what we've just seen from Sleeping Dragon. And it completely backfired for them. Now they have a bit of a push going through the mid lane, so they at least get some value there, but it seems like they're going to lose out on the tribute now. At least it would surprise me if they can win that. It depends a little bit on how fast Kenji is back, because he's already respawned, so he'll be here soon. Yep, this is the value that we've been talking about. Abathur took Mule, so if he can save the fort for now, he will be able to repair it again. And they're starting to jump in there. Yeah, Tracer's already trying to assist in the middle. Camp taken out. Tracer's starting to take everything on so that Abathur can heal with the Mule, which also means that there's obviously heroes missing, and that could be a curse against them. Can't really allow that, but it seems they have to. Yep, there it is. The curse against the blue team, as we have the Order of the Sleeping Dragon getting a bit of value in this setup. The fort in the middle of the map has survived, by the way, at least for now, so it can be muled by Abathur once that he has it ready. There's the copy as Fury is forcing the fight, and as long as there are fights, Sleeping Dragon won't really be able to capitalize on any of this. So once again, they can go deep with the attacks, of course. There's the bomb, nicely dodged. Fury still alive on the combo. Ooh, nearly the hit. Genji with the X-Strike, and Brightwing goes down again. So does Zeratul, so does a Tracer. Damn. Red team is definitely out for blood at this point. 9 kills against 3. And the fruit fly just doesn't keep them alive here, so big problem for them. I mean, talking about the damage output, we can have another look at this, while we're seeing now the fort at the bot lane also eliminated by the minions any second. They're going for the boss with this. We're having right now 20,000 damage for Chen, top damage dealer in the game. And Brightwing is sitting at 4,000 damage. There's a bit of heals there too, but you look over towards the opponent's team, and that's obviously a whole different ballgame when we're talking about damage and also about the numbers just in general. Level 13 is there, boss is taken, and Uther is already scouting this out. And with that being the case, are they going to get that one? And the answer to this is going to be no. At least not without a fight, but it looks like Shot is going to be completely caught here, and yep, goes down. So now we have a chance to make a play for the boss. The problem is that the top boss is pushing and has to be defended against. And down here, they're still fighting. They're still willing to go for it. And Uther was around for a bit longer, thanks to the trade, of course, and could help. The level 13 talent gives the red team still a slight advantage. But Treebeard is low. Oh, and the kill. Droplets gets the kill against one wolf. The second one falls as Rhaegar bites the dust. But it was a close call. It could have been the end of Zeratul for sure. But now the boss still gets value at the top side, and they're still aiming to get a boss themselves at the bottom of the map. 6 against 9 currently on the kill count. And on level 13 we now have also the Soma transference, which actually played a huge role there also in the last engage. Uther, by the way, did not go into the Divine Shield, one of the main reasons why he couldn't really work around it and save his ass there. Went into the Divine Storm. But they're back to business, and that boss is not captured yet either. So Zeratul is on his way. They're trying to get the position, and they're on the point, and they have the bunker. They can use that right now. The stun in the backline. Bunker used, but they actually disappear from the point, and therefore both of them leave, and that's the end. The boss is taken. Uther is dead again. Gets a bit of trade value here as they're trying to make the next play. They're moving on to Casanova, trying to drop him, but it seems like we're going to see more red team heroes fall in just a moment, and that's the case. Greymane is dead. They go for Blaze and take him down too. And now things are starting to fall slightly apart for the Order of the Sleeping Dragon. Not only did they again lose 3 heroes, they also were unable to steal the boss away. Now we're having another tribute about to be claimed by the blue team. And Abathar is doing Abathar things at the top side, pushing the lane out a little bit and dropping one mule after another to make sure that the keep is not falling. The aggression at the bottom of the map continues, and Genji is now feeding into it too. Rhaegar actually the first one to fall. Genji the one that is able to escape thanks to the mobility. It's a bit of an interesting setup that they have, so they're currently just feeding them one hero after another, and these are staggered deaths. One staggered death after another. Not really what you would expect on this level, but they make for really weird attacks. And again, it's just them totally, I feel, underestimating what's going on here. You have an opponent that has too many globals. You can't just with 1-2 heroes appear at that position and then expect nothing to happen, especially with slows being available on your opponent's side. So now we have 10 kills against 9 and nearly level 16 for looking for work. I honestly feel like this situation shouldn't have occurred in the first place. Sleeping Dragon had a lead, and a pretty significant one at that too. And they just didn't respect their opponent's composition or felt forced into a lot of the attacks that then turned against them. At this point we have the combo strikes taken for Chen. We're also seeing the critter rise now for Brightwing. And Zeratul takes over the vision. They're trying to hold on to their side of the map. But obviously in an ideal world the blue team would now try and get the tribute here to force the curse, especially since they have a camp pushing through the middle of the map. And they have level 16 talents. The red team just doesn't have them at this point. But they will be forced into this fight, and they're taking it. They're taking the battle, but can they really sustain themselves here? That's the bigger question. Already the copy comes out. Yeah, there's a little bit of Genji pressure against Zeratul. The triple panda in action too. Fury, that's the loss on the copy, but Genji has fallen in the meantime, and the chase is on as the pandas are looking for Greymane. They're looking for Treebeard. They're trying to get the kill. The Ancestral gets used. Nice jet propulsion against 4 at this point. Good stun follow-up. And the kill against Trashwing. Yep. Down goes the fruit fly. Swaps Magoo barely getting out. Tracer about to fall as well. They're trying to chase her. And yeah, that might actually work. There's the slow, and that should be a kill. Yeah, at this point you can't escape that anymore. Treebeard on the other hand gets the channel. And that means that we have one tribute taken. And now we have a chance for them to come back into this. 12 kills against 1. there we go. 12 kills against 1 right here. Stuns now in with the benediction for Uther. Defending through the mid lane. And so far, so good. So yeah, pretty happy with this. I mean, at this point, we're having a setup in which we could definitely see the red team come back, even after all that happened so far in this game. So let's take another quick look at the damage output. 34,000 from Greymane. Chen, by the way, is still the top damage dealer with 41,000 for the blue team. They got a bunch of heroes that really are chunking it down right now. You look at Tracer, Zeratul, and Abathar, and they're all in the mid-30s at this point when it comes to the damage. On the other hand, it's Greymane who really delivers the blows for the Order of the Sleeping Dragon. And again, that little setup against Zeratul. He needs to be careful, even with the Abathar support. But don't get baited in too deep. Good pressure on the bot lane from the Siege Giants. They're going to eventually arrive at the keep, by the way. Just saying. There's another tribute, and keep in mind, it could be curse time. If the blue team takes it, that's good for them. Fury on the copy, so if they can burn that down quickly, they might have a better chance to go for the tribute as well, especially since it only spawns in 19 seconds. So Fury is going to be without a copy. Has to rely on the symbiote to assist his team, and a bit of body soak, I would assume. Yep, and there we have our setup. I mean, you can give this up, of course. If you're looking for work, you can just simply say, fuck it, let's give him to them. It's gonna be 2 vs 2. Another boss attack here immediately. They got Greymane, but still, this is playing a little bit greedy. They're going for everything here. And then not getting anything right now, so they're not able to zone for the tribute. Now they have to stall on the objective, or well, on the boss, which was the mini objective here. Stuns keep coming now. Push at the top lane a little bit. Catapult's gonna home in there soon. The Siege Giants at the bot lane. But of course there's also catapults for both sides there. And they're getting poked again. Enigmatic needs to be careful here. Both of the teams on level 18 right now, so not even a stats advantage for either one of them. Yeah, Droplets gets potentially stunned here. Needs to be careful. Zeratul definitely in a bit of trouble if he moves in too deep and gets locked down here. Double channel right now. Tracer comes in again. Interrupts. They're still poking, still zoning, still waiting, and the blue team gives it up. Alright, position taken, and the next tribute is going to decide over the curse. That would be curse number 3 in this game. Stuns in against Chen, benediction being used, and the Panda survives! Long enough to get the ult out. Nope, doesn't have the cooldown, got interrupted on it, and that's the end of the Panda. Survived for much longer thanks to the shields from Abathar and also, of course, the Brightwing setup. Now it's probably time for boss into boss again, as both teams are starting to move over here. We're having at the top side a quick take thanks to Greymane. Someone could actually start to rotate down to the bottom of the map. And since both of the forts are down on those lanes, this could actually be a play for Keep and Core. So nobody's rotating down to the bottom. There's a bit of an advantage for the Sleeping Dragons if you are thinking about pushing potentially for the end of the game. I don't think they were going to go that far in, but still. Here comes the attack. The advantage for the blue team is obviously the mule that they have. And there's the tribute. So they're potentially going for the curse here. Chen isn't back yet, so they can go for the camp as well. And they're starting to make the play for it. Top lane so far hasn't been taking it either. There's another camp that gets claimed just in time. Nice steal. And now it's time for the curse. Bot lane, boss starts to go in and up to the top since the wall has already been taken down earlier. This one could theoretically take that keep. It's going to be a little bit close though. And again, the mule is a huge problem with this. But it's definitely going to be a curse. Uther is already on the channel. And this one is going to get close. But I actually don't think that the boss is going to get it. With the shields coming in from Abathar and the mule, no. Boss goes down, and keep hasn't been taken. Down here, the wall gets scratched and might get a bit of damage onto the keep itself, but even that I doubt. And Uther is currently just holding this for long enough to get the curse in for this team. And level 20 is ready for both of them. It's insanely close for game number 1. Again, this is the 3rd place decider, but the question obviously remains, what exactly is a Sleeping Dragon going to try and pull off now? And they're currently moving through the bottom of the map, trying to push for a keep, as it seems. Level 10 abilities are in, which gives us, first of all, Twilight Falls for Zeratul. We're having the Hive Mind, Fairy Protector. And also, in addition to that, I mean, Divine Hurricane, the Fortified Bunker, Rewind for Rhaegar. But now they have to make a choice of where they want to go with this. I mean, you have the curse against your opponent, you need to try and get an advantage through this. And the question is just simply where. Are you going to move for the middle, or you go for the bottom, try to protect the siege giants and play around them, or what's the play? Poking against the mid lane definitely is working. Down at the bottom of the map now, they're having the siege giants pushing in. There's catapults coming too, so this is probably their best chance to go for a keep, and they're starting to use it. 13 kills against 11. The poke has started up, and that keep is slowly falling, but Mule is still an option for the red team, for the blue team. Looking for work is going to employ the Mule whenever they can, and the curse is over. Now the lanes are pushing, the mid lane and the bot lane are both pushing, but they haven't taken down a keep yet. And at some point they have to make a commitment. They can't just poke around all day long. Abathur is going to be happy to put that Mule to some use. It has been doing this at the top lane the entire time. So they're starting to go down to the bottom of the map again. And in comes the setup. Yeah, there's the attack against Blaze. He needs to be careful. Zeratul moved in and nearly body blocked him together with swaps on Chen. Here come the stuns. Corgi still fine. Fortified bunker, maybe a bit early for him. But they're dropping it, and they're still trying to poke this down. And they got poke. I mean, they got some, especially through Blaze. So that keep is nearly eliminated if they can just poke a little bit harder, especially through the Hunter's Blunderbuss from Greymane. They would be able to take that apart. But they're starting to move back. And again, if they move back too far, then Abathur is just going to mule that thing back up. But they're yielding the position. And now after Abathur pretty much has already dealt with the top lane pretty easily, the next mule is going to be directed towards the bottom of the map. And then they're going to run into the same issue again. So they're waiting for kills. This is literally just the teams waiting to see if they can get a few kills and then snowball the game so hard that they can go straight for the core with this one. I mean, the bosses are going to be up in another minute and a half for the blue team. They're going to have another minute and 20 seconds for the red team. So there is definitely, I want to say, a bit of a timer on this. And let's not forget that there's also the option that the blue team still gets a curse thanks to the next tribute, if they are taking this. Nice stun set up here, and they might get the kill, and Brightwing is dead again. The fruit fly has died 5 times in this game. Yep, and Casanova is now down 2. Honestly, at this point, I mean, this should be game. We're talking about a 5 versus 3 right now, and let's see what they can do with this. Corgi needs to be a bit careful, but the supports are coming in, and that is a double support that we are having in play. So now starting to move through the bottom. Genji moves towards the top for the tribute. I have zero idea why, but he's doing it. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing at this point, but if you don't go for core, then you should go double keep. I mean, they have 30 seconds to burn that down, but they don't want to risk it. Again, Mule is always a big deterrent, but why not move to the top lane right now and take the second keep? It's wide open. And Genji hasn't even taken this, so why the camp? I'm a little bit confused by the calls here. I mean, again, it's not bad taking the camp, but now Genji has fallen at the top lane, which makes things even worse. And that top keep was definitely an option for them. They could have gone for the top keep, and they're not doing it. So now they have taken the camp, and he's going to take down the fountain, but this is a curse against them. So now they're cursed. Genji is dead, and the blue team is able to not only push out, but maybe do some work on their own. And keep in mind that the wave alone has nearly taken that top keep down. So if they would have just, instead of moving into the middle, if they would have just moved top, they would have gotten double keep here with this. So not really sure I agree with the decision making that we're seeing from Order of the Sleeping Dragon here. But now the curse is up. So it's a play for boss that we're seeing from the blue team. Looking for work is moving in for it. A camp is taking in the middle of the map, and up at the top they're going now for the boss as well. So we again see the exchange between bosses. And this time we have a slight advantage on the blue team side, or we have them just a little bit quicker on the boss camp. So yep, in the meantime this one at the top is also taken. But when it comes to a race, just theoretically speaking, there would be an advantage for looking for work now compared to what we've seen previously. Top lane gets pushed, and it looks like they're just going for the defense here. It's a 5 versus 5 on the map again. And maybe now finally the keep is going to fall. I mean, you can mule that shit however much you want, but the keep at the top lane now is going to fall. That boss is so strong it scales into the late game. But at the bot lane they still have to defend against this, and this is going to be the big play from looking for work. They're going to try and end here. I mean, if they get kills now with that boss, then they have the chance. So there was an option for the red team to try and go topside. Just imagine if they earlier had taken the keep at the top side, as I already talked about earlier. If that would be the case, then the blue team would have to defend now because they don't have anything to slow the boss down. But instead, they went for the camp. Now the boss is down. Well, boss is on half HP. Keep at the top lane is nearly falling. Nice triple stun. The follow-up isn't there though. And the boss is on the core all of a sudden. So yep, Sleeping Dragon in trouble. The shield is falling. There are fortified bunkers on the ground, and they're just trying to race it down. The defense is there, 30%. Is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it. This is going to be game looking for work with 12 kills against 16. Takes game number 1 in the best of 5 series against the Sleeping Dragons. Game number 2, everybody. Looking for work with a lead against the Order of the Sleeping Dragon. We have on the left, looking for work with a double support comp. So after they didn't have a real support in the last game, someone settled on the Fruit Fly. They now decided that they want to make up for it by adding 2 supports in there. So playing the Uther main tank again. With Fury on Uther, Droplets on Phoenix, we have Swaps Megu on Genji, Dark Chimera on Ana, and Casanova on Samuro. I'm a little bit worried, on the other hand, when I look at the Sleeping Dragons composition. We have Corgi Booty on Falstad, Elheim on Deckard Cain, Enigmatic on Lunara, Shot on Meridian, and Treebeard on Sylvanas. And some of you might ask now, but Khaldor, what's wrong with this comp? And it's actually pretty easy. Generally speaking, this composition is utter garbage. So why exactly is that? Because you're playing a solo tank with a triple backline. Ever since the conception of Heroes of the Storm, ever since this game made it out, I think, of beta, might have been a little bit later than that, triple backline was just utter shit. And for some reason, it actually still existed in Quick Match, in Storm League, in, well, Hero League back then, and Team League. Existed for a long time, and people just kept going for it. Whereas on the competitive level, on any competitive level, people immediately realized that it's a horrible, horrible team setup and didn't go into it. So ever since HEC started in particular back then, you pretty much did never see a triple backline. Like, there was, I think, 1 in 1,000 games or so. And now going back into a triple backline is a really, really bad idea. You just don't have the frontline sustain that you need, and once that your main tank is out of commission and gets poked down, your entire backline is open, and your opponent has an easy time just jumping in and taking you apart. You obviously have the damage output, so if you play against a bunch of dummies that just don't have any rotations peeling or whatnot, you might be able to get quick kills in and then snowball it a little bit, but that's not going to happen in the later stages of the game. So with that, we're now having a kill. We have actually 2 kills for Sleeping Dragon, capitalizing on the damage output. But especially when this comes to a late game, I am more than a little bit worried for looking for work. They not only deal with Genji, but they also have... more than a little bit worried for Sleeping Dragon. Because despite the fact that I'm not really quite on the hype train with Uther as a main tank, still, this is more of a normal setup what we're seeing here, with Genji in play, with a double support. It's not a traditional European composition or a high competitive level composition you see for looking for work, but it still beats the shit out of a triple backline. So, we'll see how it works out for Sleeping Dragon. Right now, they at least have a solid start into the early game. But again, it's not really the early game that I'm worried about. Also, in typical North America fashion, the Siphoning Toxin on level 4 as a talent for Lunara. So, she's going to be played here. And yeah, up to the top, you still have Fury. I think this is probably one of the things that for the longest time it has tilted me in Heroes to an extent that you won't believe. Whereas in the competitive scene, you would always see double frontline. If you just dared to pick a second frontliner, especially if you're picked into a second tank, for example, which was quite common in, let's say, Storm League or any public game, you would get flamed into the ground because all the dummies in Plastic League would just not understand that this is actually the most successful composition in Heroes of the Storm. So the disconnect between what's actually good in the game and what a lot of the public thought was good was crazy. And Blizzard did for a long time, I mean, granted, they still do, a pretty bad job educating players about top-level play and what's actually successful. So when it comes to educational tools within the client itself, there was always a really big gap. And if there were players that didn't watch HGC or other competitive structures, then they most of the time didn't really know what to do, and that's also a big problem when it comes to maps, rotations, understanding objectives and whatnot. But team compositions have definitely for the years played a big part in that equation. But either way, with the game at hand, we have obviously now the lead, generally speaking, in this best of 5 series of 4 looking for work, so they have an edge here. You see on level 4, deflection taken for Samuro, so talent choices are already slightly different from what we normally see on the European scene. I mean, that makes up for the regional meta, obviously. Also, another talent that just builds straight into that is the choke in Pollen here on level 7 for Lunara. So we're currently seeing on level 7 the Festering Wounds. There's no Unfurling Shadows on level 1, so it's not really added stacks that we're going to get here, but it's still a talent that can really help you out, obviously. We're having for Muradin a bit more of a sustains, and Shot just decided that if he gets poked by the opponent, he wants to survive a little bit longer here. Can't really blame him for that, considering that he's the only frontliner and the only melee. If you are in that setup, you want to be as sustainable as you possibly can be. That also explains his level 4 talent choice and what we're going to see on level 13, since obviously he's going to spec into healing static here. Yeah, but the aggression is there. Falstad, talking about aggression, is a little bit in trouble against Phoenix at the top side. Droplets can obviously side lane with Phoenix quite easily. That's one of the weird, interesting parts, and actually this is another really cool point to talk about when we're talking about triple backlines. Phoenix on a lot of maps has actually the capacity to go into a solo laner position because he has everything that you normally want from a solo laner. He has a self-sustain mechanic through the shields, and he also has good wave clear. So, and he has also mobility, so he can escape from ganks. So on some maps, Praxis Khaldor, for example, he actually was played as a solo laner occasionally, especially since most solo laners are obviously melee. So if you have a ranged character against them, it's really difficult and annoying for them to take that lane. The problem that these compositions had in the past was that once you reach the late game, where these solo setups on and off lane are not that important anymore, and you're more looking at 5 versus 5 battles over objectives, bosses, and other points on the map, then all of a sudden that Phoenix doesn't really do as much for you anymore, because you still want to have another hero at the front line that has CC to its name and can use that against an opponent in conjunction with your own tank. So that was actually a pretty interesting tidbit. One map where you could kind of play around it a little bit was Braxis, but Braxis was also one of the most hated maps on the professional level that we had. I mean, nobody really wanted to play that. I think there were a few teams that developed slight cheese strategies on the map, and for at least, I want to say, a couple of weeks, we saw the map a little bit more often, but that map got voted out of the pool as quickly as teams could actually make it happen. With now level 10 abilities ready for the Sword of the Sleeping Dragon, they're having Leap again for Lunara, which is the traditional pick on the North American server. So far, Deckard Cain hasn't taken a talent yet, so either we're going to see Lul Nado, or they're going to try and play this with him putting everybody to sleep. Ults are taken on the other side. Zakimera gets healed, and Uther misses the Divine Shield and heals himself. Gets actually nano boosted as well, so that was a weird one. Ana nano boosts Uther and says like, dude, let's trade ults here, and Uther says, okay, that's fine. And then once that Ana nano boosts Uther, Uther comes in and says like, nah, 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 and just puts the Divine Shield on himself with full HP. So yeah, so much for that. Ana goes down immediately, and yep, there they go in again. Fury might actually fall here. There's the sleep, and Fury goes down. 4 kills against 0, 5 against 0. Yeah, they have the damage, but again, late game, I don't really believe they will be able to make a lot of plays there. Enigmatic! Why is no one? What are they doing? Kill Lunara! It's basically a free kill right there, but yeah, they focus on it too late. Communication apparently an issue. And Casanova barely survives, but he does. I mean, the blue team is currently going for a couple of memes here. The Divine Shield missing on Ana was the first problem, then not killing Lunara there and just giving her an opportunity to come back into this was definitely a bit of an awkward spot too. But at least they were able to deny the objective for the time being. But looking for work has some odd moments here, I gotta say. Few of these moves were a bit awkward, to say the least. I mean, now we have level 10, and Casanova can, with level 10, obviously start to focus a bit more on the macro aspect of all of this. We're having Corgi Booty still sitting topside and trying to deal with all that. He went, by the way, into updraft on level 4. This is something that in the past has been sometimes used when you're going up against an Genji, but also it allows you to reposition yourself a little bit better during a fight when you're trying to look for a good Mighty Gust. So there are advantages to that. I haven't really seen it played a lot with the Wingman build, but back in the days when you would go into the Season Marksman auto attack focus, then it was a little bit more popular. Hazobs was actually one of the players that spec'd into it a lot because he wanted to get good gusts off and reposition himself during a team fight nicely. And these days we have it oftentimes against Genji setups. But now, since the first objective hasn't been taken yet, both of the teams are aiming for it. The level 13 talent is a big advantage that will be ready for the Sleeping Dragons though. And they have it now. Which also means that Healing Stagger is now finally available. Abolish Magic is in as well. The Super Healing Potion comes through too. And we have a bit of a spec into the Mage build now for Falstad. So going straight into the Flow Rider. Fury gets attacked, has the Divine Shield ready, can use that. Tries to make it happen without it, and is able to pull it off. With Ana moving in, there's the heals, the fountain goes down, so that's a bit of a win, but he didn't have to use his cooldown, and that's pretty strong. Double support, making it possible. Droplets, starting to move in now too. They're obviously aiming for the interrupt again, but it's captured. That was a little bit weird. I think he could have gone for an auto attack interrupt there quite easily, but now they have to try and channel that through. This is very likely going to be an objective for Sleeping Dragon. It's much easier to interrupt than to try and reclaim, and yes, they are going to lose this one. Okay, so 4 versus 4 down here. Droplets without the interrupt. Corgi Booty comes in as well. There's already the sleep against 2. Uther, Divine Shield on him. And there's the salvo. They try to turn it around, and they get the kill against Lunara. Ana is dead too, though. So the fight's still going on, but we have the blade ready, and down goes Sylvanas. Short should be able to get swaps. Actually, they get away. Uther is the one that falls, and Phoenix follows. 8 kills against 2, 13 against 14 now, so the talents are coming in at the back end of the fight. We're still fighting the entire time without the additional talent. And yep, with that, we're now having the push through the Raiders. Top side, middle, and at the bottom, they're all moving in with it. Starting to try and take down the structures here, as Genji is getting chased. They might be able to get the kill, but Swaps is moving away. And I think they would probably be better served just attacking the structures and trying to get all of the forts eliminated. They were able to get the kills during the battle, so that's something. At the bottom, we're seeing a big wave pushing in, and there's finally some movement from the Sleeping Dragons to move down here and play around that. But, yep, there we go. We're starting to reach also a bit more of a late game setup, and as I said before, it's normally when you can really excel with the amount of CC that we're also seeing on the other side. But so far, Looking for Work has pretty much just excelled in miscommunicating a little bit what's going on there. Fury is already pinging. Sitting down here as they're trying to go towards the wave, and that's a big experience wave that we're having now. Yep, and it's Droplets who is taking it. Up to the top lane, we still have Casanova in play, and he's starting to work with Samuro. It is a big map. They have Falstad, so they have a global, but it is a very, very big map, and a good Samuro player can just cancer you around all day, every day, so it's quite annoying. Bosses are obviously going to become a bit of a focus point too, and already a Wisp is spotting what's happening down at the bottom of the map. Seems like they might be trying to sneak up to the top and grab theirs. So far that ain't happening. We still have Enigmatics playing against Genji here. In terms of the damage output, just to give you a bit of an idea, we have 24,000 for Sylvanas, 31,000 for Phoenix. And that's it sitting topside. Here comes the stun against Lunara. There comes Genji. And Leap is in. Can they get the kill? Not quite, but they poke her down quite easily. That allows now to make some additional plays for themselves. 13 and 16 talents ready for the two teams, but it's obviously the next talent that Looking for Work is fighting for. If they get 16, they can finally fight on an even level. Even playing field here. That's what they're going to try and do. Especially since the prisoners are going to be back in action in only 20 seconds. Droplets needs to make sure that he doesn't get stunned out here. There's the jump. Stormball gets juked. Lunara falls in the meantime at the top side as they're going in for the kill. And Phoenix survives. So now there's a chance for them to go straight forward. And I think that's what they're going to try and do here. Yep, there's the zone out against Muradin. They get a couple of shots in. Some extra damage against him there.
As we have the rest of the team already sneaking in from behind. Casanova is trying to get that done. Objective isn't been attacked yet. Fury is trying to get it. Yep, nice damage against Elhaim. Good job by Casanova, sitting in the bush here and capitalizing on that position. It's a 5 versus 4 for the time being, at least. That's the combos that they can push out. 16 is ready on both sides, which give us Benediction. That's going to be great, but they haven't found the channel yet. They're still trying to look for the aggression. Shot has another interrupt, and so does Deckard Cain. Both of them are moving in. Stormbolt gets interrupted, but there's the seal. As we're having them try to go in again. Stormbolt misses. Shot is at 15 stacks, by the way, and now he has to pull Averett out. And Shot might fall. Shot gets attacked. Genji jumps in, and that's a lot of ults that have just been used. Nano boost is in for against looking for work, but on the side of the Order of the Sleeping Dragon, we've just seen the sleep and also the gust being used. Lunara is back, so it's a 5 versus 5 right now, but she is definitely a bit in trouble. Shot is dropping out of Avatar, so he has a lot less cooldowns that he can pull in these situations now. And there's the channel. They get the channel in, and now all of a sudden they have to try and fight back. But there's the interrupt, one after another. They're trying to get the kill in against Fury. That's not going to be easy with the double support here. They're making the play for Corgi. They're starting to run out of mana. And there's the Divine Shield on Genji. Yeah, remember that shit? That was annoying as hell, and it was annoying for a reason. He gets the first kill, he gets the second kill. Uther dies too, but how does that matter? He still has the trade around and can heal them out a little bit longer. It looks like they're going to get this one. Kills come in, 2 for 1. That's exactly the setup. 5 kills against 9 at this point. And the back line is open. And the ults are now finally coming through, and they're starting to get the damage in. That's going to be an objective, and an easy one for them at that as well. Objective taken. And with that, they can now try and make the push straight in for those forts. Because let's not forget, Sleeping Dragon has actually an advantageous position when it comes to the setup here on the map. Yeah, Shot moving straight into the range of Genji. Doesn't get killed, but definitely gets poked down pretty quickly. And slowly and steadily, the game changes a little bit. Yeah, damage output is definitely more than enough on the side of looking for work. And they also have that CC that comes with it, especially now that Benediction is in and Uther has the double stun. Level 17 on both sides. They're making the play at the top again. Yeah, that's nearly a kill against Phoenix. Nice setup against him, but he's still alive. Double support. Yep, pretty strong. Elhaim, there's the salvo, but no kill against Deckard Cain. Phoenix moves out and actually survives. The fight is still there. Samuro isn't here, by the way. This is a 5 versus 4 that we're looking at right now. Samuro is getting bot lane value, and in the meantime, the cavalry is also active in the middle. There's again the Divine Shield, and they're nearly winning the 4 versus 5. Guys, they're nearly winning a 4 versus 5 here, just saying. So that fort is nearly going down, and in the meantime, Samuro has started to rejoin the team. And all of a sudden, they're looking at a potential 5 versus 5 battle, and the red team is already struggling there. They're eating too much damage. And at the bottom of the map, one fort is falling. In the middle, this one has already gone down. And Samuro is doing his thing right here. Top lane has also died, so all 3 forts are now down the drain. The blue team nearly won a 4 versus 5 in the last battle that they fought. Yeah, the late game. As we said, 5 kills against 9 at this point. So right now, we have bot side, still Samuro doing his thing. By the way, taking a bit of a look at Samuro. Look at the experience, for example. He's sitting at 11,700 experience that he gathered for the team. 11,000 for the bird, a little bit behind. Samuro still active, but has one of the copies up to the top, so they can go potentially for the boss even. Slight experience lead for the Order of the Sleeping Dragon. At least for the time being. But here comes the attack again, and the backline gets attacked. Casanova has to jump out, does that, but could still fall. Gets healed, the bird comes in, trying to help out as well. And they're just retreating again. We're coming back to the point that was previously made. You have a triple backline, that means you have a lot of squishies, and especially Genji with the Divine Shield is going to be very happy to try and attack that again. Samuro is still moving copies all around the map and is now busying himself in the mid lane to push that out too. It's obviously about level 20 right now. Yeah, trying to push in again. And they go for the bird. Get a little bit of extra damage in before they move out here. No stun from Uther, he wasn't in range. But if that stun connects, could be lights out. So they're starting to go straight into the mid lane again. Again, it's about experience. You want to have level 20. They're very likely to get level 20 around the same time frame. Prisoner camps are also up again in the 20 seconds. The attack here in the middle as we're starting to go straight for another grab against the objective. 20, nearly there. Both teams moving down slowly. Taking the camps down here too. And Storm Talons will be a bit annoying. Dragon Becomes Me is going to be ready for Genji. It's already a nuisance. Fury very likely going to go into his redemption. I mean, theoretically, you can obviously play around the Bulwark too, but I don't really think we're going to see that here. And we have Leap now, the Boundless Stride. That's also Rewind. The Bird with the Epic Mount. Okay, fair enough. Trying to react a little bit more to Samuro. Dragon Becomes Me has already been taken. Samuro going straight into the 3-blade style at this point. And there it is. Bulwark of Light, after all, plus the Unconquered Spirit. Okay, no redemption for him. And talking about redemption, Falstad already using the Epic Mount is like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to deal with Samuro. That just ain't happening. But this is very like, I mean, this could theoretically be the last objective. Depending on how this fight goes, if you actually grab the objective, you might be able to just snowball that towards the core and take it down. Obviously, you try to take those armor... oh, Fury actually with a rewind here, if I saw that correctly. That was a bit of an early one. Wow. Can't believe that he just threw that out. That's a bigger cooldown to burn. Bullshit. Benediction, of course. My bad. Rewind. Sure, Khaldor. When these commentators talk out of their ass all the time. Horrible, horrible, isn't it? Well, they get the stun here down against Lunara at the bot lane. And they have the camp. Camp is starting to come up. And there's the chance. Dragon becomes Genji. And there he is. Slicing and dicing. He doesn't even know which target to go for first. Bam. There goes the bird. They're trying to get the counter kill against Genji. Protected, by the way. And Lunara gets lulled into the ground by Phoenix. Yep, there it is. The kill. Genji finally falls. And Muradin also completes his quest thanks to that. But still, a 2-for-1 trade. And they're going to get the objective if they focus on it again. So that's pretty good for them too. Ton of experience at the bottom of the map. Whew. I mean, Samuro should definitely send a copy down there so that he can grab all of that and defend it. Muradin gets put to sleep here. Ana's pretty good at that. It's a bit of a battle. Resident sleeper value from Ana and from Deckard Cain. Who's more boring? And so far, I think Ana has proven that she's pretty much leading the charge on that. 7 kills against 10. Yep, Samuro has taken a little bit of this, is getting another wave at the bottom. The B-steps are already in for both. Master Taunts as well, and there is the objective. Sylvanas very likely going to deal with this down here. And also camp taken, and they're starting to move through the middle. It is time for the cavalry, boys! And I'm not talking Tracer here. So, let's look at the damage output too. 68,000 for Phoenix. Just look at his siege damage, 174. Damn, son. I mean, he's doubling what Falstad has. He's actually doubling what the bird has. And on the other hand, 44,000 for Lunara and 48,000 for Sylvanas. There's the push again through the middle. Shot is being attacked. Again, you poke down the only tank in the game, the only frontliner, and the backline is open. So he eats a lot of damage. Samuro is, again, top lane. He's splitting the entire game, and that's exactly what he should do. You're not going to get the keep in the middle. That's not happening. At least not with the initial push. But at the top lane, that's a different story, because Samuro can start to burn the bird down. And they're still pressuring on both lanes. And at the bottom of the map, we're having obviously another cavalry now moving in as well, so they can poke on multiple lanes here. Samuro is already moving out as the wall falls, and at the bottom of the map, they're doing the same thing. So let's see how much they can get. It's a 5 versus 5. The defense so far from Mortar of the Sleeping Dragon is actually pretty good. But this one might fought regardless. They're already going for a shot again. Muradin is eating the damage, and a lot of that hasn't really specced into the avatar yet, but still. Top lane is getting pushed. Samuro moves down to the bottom, helps out here, Genji, and he goes down. Not even with a double support can they keep him alive. I don't think he was protected in that moment. Ana goes down as well. Okay, that gust didn't do anything. Divine Shield came out too. But I think we're going to see the end of Phoenix regardless. Yeah, the Unconquered Spirit, and that's 3 kills. But guess what? The one hero that hasn't fallen is Casanova, and he already moved to the top lane and said, okay, if you go down for a... well, if you start pushing, I'm going to take your keeps. And we have in the mid lane Fury doing the same thing. So Order of the Sleeping Dragon now makes the choice to go into the bot lane push through the boss. Gonna try and find the value there. But at the top lane, they still have to be careful. Fury is riding in on his high horse and is trying to get the stuns in against Corgi Booty. And guys, they might be able to get this one. Okay, Lunara comes back and helps out, and that was desperately needed. It also means that the bot lane is taking a little bit longer to get anything done here. Yep, there's the copy again, but as you can imagine, this one is suffering. Is it gonna fall? No. But once that Samuro wants it, he's gonna get it. So the boss pushes to the bot lane, but nobody pushes with it. 7 kills against 13. And again, the blue team seems still to have some trouble with coordination in team fights. I mean, their combo, generally speaking, is actually quite strong. Always with the caveat that I'm not really a fan of the main tank Uther style. But again, North America really likes it, and it is successful over there. Quite a bit. But I doubt that this one is going to get a keep at the bottom of the map. But they're making the play for both of the bosses. They have the one at the bottom, they get the one up at the top. And yep, there we have it. That one gets burned down, and so does the one at the bottom of the map. But I don't think this one is going to fall. They're having a full five-man defense set up now, and they're going to get it. 2 of those keeps are, by the way, really low on the red team side. I mean, both. If Samuro has a chance to jump in at any of those, they're dead. They're down. So, yeah, top side has been taken now as well. Camps are up on the map. So this is really the moment where Sleeping Dragon has another chance to bring 1 point onto the board for themselves. And Samuro is already pushing out the bottom of the map, as he should. There's a bit of a defense set up at the top already against the boss, so Droplets is trying to get the early damage in against this bad boy. At the same time, the rest of the team is already shirking around the point. Samuro pushing the bot lane still. I mean, obviously, they want to have the bot lane keep here. There's still another wave pushing in with this. It's a little bit of a tricky spot now because you're having to deal with those trolls, with those gnolls there, and you want to take the rest there as well. Uh-oh, silence! Are we going to see the ult? And no, Fury doesn't pop the ult, doesn't need it. Yeah, he does. He goes for the ult, and they're starting to get the salvo, and Genji with the swipes. Swaps make good. Dragon became him. And he went straight in and tried to eat his opponents alive. Yep, they're going for the bird. Fly still out. Keep at the top lane is now falling. Boss is still there. Bot lane gets pushed a little bit. They're trying to go for the counter camp. But they also need to send someone back to deal with the boss. And that's what they're doing. But obviously, the core, when it takes damage, is going to regenerate those hit points. And with 2 armor shields still intact, that's going to be an easy one. We're grabbing the objective again on the side. And guys, this objective would definitely eliminate 2 keeps at least. I mean, at least. If you take this objective 25 minutes into the game, you can imagine how much that's going to hurt. It's going to do a lot. The bird has obviously epic mount, but I don't think that they have a chance of going for a bit of a backdoor attempt. Not with 2 armor shields still intact. That's just not going to be a thing. So Droplets is pressuring this now out too, making sure that there's no chance of a second keep falling. Genji has already taken the one at the top, so that was an easy one for him. Needs to make sure that he can still jump out, and does exactly that. But now we're having a huge problem for Sleeping Dragon on our hands here. More kills for the red team, but that doesn't mean jack shit if you can't win the game. We've seen that in the on the previous map. Exactly the same setup. And already half HP and a mighty gust for Corgi Booty. Just a simple Genji engage, that's all that they needed. Divine Shield is in for Phoenix. Casanova comes in, trying to make it a 5 versus 5. And they're going for the fight here. Yep, they go straight for the back line. They try to reclaim the position here on the prisoner camp. And Shot, as the tank, has already used Avatar. And he is starting to lose hit points quickly. And he doesn't have anybody to help him out at the frontier. And that's a huge problem. Has nothing left. And the camp's taken. The prisoner camp, that is, which means that we're going to see the cavalry moving in again. They don't even have to deal with this, because this is not going to be able to take the core. And the core regenerates. You don't even need Abathar for that. So Casanova is pushing out the bottom of the map again. We're having, in the meantime, still this 4 versus 4, 4 versus 5 in the middle as they're poking around. But now the cavalry is defending the top lane. The fight down at the bottom of the map has just now started up. Uther might fall. Uther does fall, but can they get a counter kill? That's the question. Yep, they can. Falstad is dead, and here comes Genji. Well, and here goes Genji. Yeah. He goes down, and Droplets might actually fall as well. Still had the Unconquered Spirit, so he uses that to his advantage. But the keep in the middle is about to fall. The keep at the bottom is about to fall. And that means that every single lane is going to be pushing against the Order of the Sleeping Dragon. And there's not a single armor shield left on that boss. So despite the fact that they have 2 kills, Sleeping Dragon might not be able to get a lot done here. Because without armor, that thing falls fast. And those 3 heroes still do damage. Especially, of course, Samuro. And they go in, and they're starting to take it in that game. That's a 2-0 lead in the best of 5 for Looking for Work. They are victorious again, even 5 kills down on map number 2. GG, and well played as Looking for Work extends the lead to a 2-0 in the best of 5 here at the Division S North America playoffs.
Game number 3, everybody! Looking for work with a 2-0 lead against the Order of the Sleeping Dragon. And we are in Infernal Shrines, potentially the last map. Furio and Garrosh, they actually decided to go into a real tank this time. We have Casanova on Karazim, Dark Chimera on Kel'Thas, Droplets on Samuro, and Swaps Megu on Lunara. She's actually seeing a lot of play in North America. Way more than in Europe. So, Sleeping Dragon with Enigmatic on Sylvanas. We have Corgi Booty on Malthael, Treebeard on Mephisto, Shot on Uther, and Elhaim on Anna. Again, the Uther double support setup. Honestly, with Malthael, that can actually be kind of scary, because what a couple of teams did over in Europe occasionally, I think it was Wind and Rain who did it first. Don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% certain that they were the first ones to do it. But on this map, if you go into Tormented Soul on Malthael and you nano boost shit out of him, plus potentially then Uther's heals and the Divine Shield, Malthael can single-handedly destroy the entire opponent's team. It's honestly scary, it's a little bit insane. So in this setup, I could see that being the idea here, and well, we'll find out. We also have Mephisto in, which is something that we have at least from Wind and Rain and Maka on the European side. Falenda occasionally played it too, but it's definitely still Maka who is mostly taking that. So, yeah. This is now the third game, the third time in the third game that we are seeing the double support Uther main tank setup. And well, he gets punished already, going up against the real tank there, and Garrosh is just sitting there looking at Uther, just laughing, and like, ha ha ha, you try to be a tank? I'm gonna show you what a real tank does, and takes him down. But let's see if we're getting this Malthael setup that I've been talking about. So down at the bottom, Treebeard also in slight trouble, gets stunned out, and swaps. Karazim's the kill, baby! Yeah, no, oh, yes, he goes down. Damage over time right there, and Mephisto is dead. 2 early kills for Looking for Work, huh? I mean, you can definitely argue that from the last 2 maps that they won, they should have definitely lost at least 1. I would have said that. I would honestly say that Sleeping Dragon should have won on Cursed Hollow. I mean, they were so far ahead. They had some great positions there after they got the double kill in the late game. Smarter decisions would have led to a victory on the map for them. I'm 100% certain about that. Game number 2 can definitely argue that they might have been able to make some better plays occasionally, but the same is true for Looking for Work, so I would not have been surprised to see the series in a 1-1 situation right now. But that's not the case. So that means that we have a chance for Looking for Work to end it here and take the 3rd place in the North American Division S. Already the camps are being taken by both of the teams here. We have level 4 abilities with the Nature's Culling, and we have the Natural Perspective. Look at that! Halfway Norman talents that we're seeing here. At least, again, from obviously the perspective from over the pond. Talking Europe here for a moment. Skull Missile build for Mephisto. Seen it occasionally, but usually it's a Lightning Nova focus. And Uther gets attacked again. And even with the double support, they're having trouble to keep him alive here. But they keep him alive. So yeah, they're able to keep him in play. With the set, we're having now Die Alone taken. And that's a little bit of a weird one, I feel. Because obviously it gives you... I mean, it helps you for the solo lane, but I honestly feel that Malthael has to be one of the big points and tools that they use during the objective. And that's why I'm not quite sure if you really want to go for that. I mean, there's better alternatives, if you ask me, for this map, for that setup. But either way, we're having the attack here. Also interesting, the Energy Royal has actually been taken here. Okay, so up towards the top, bit of damage against Droplets, but he's still sitting tight. He has the global advantage, and later on in the game, they already used Samuro in the last game with good results so far. So there we have. We're having again the attack against Corgi Booty. And once more, I really want to see that double support Malthael with Tormented Souls on level 10. That's the one ticket into this game that they have. He can do a whole lot. We've seen that a few times actually on the European side where you with this can completely destroy an opponent. And I feel this has to be the play that they make. If they go last rights here, then that would be, in my opinion, insta-loss. But we'll see how they're going to play it.
Corgi Booty is really, really low already. There's no global that they can use there either. We're already having now 7 on the board, and that's a huge talent advantage. Yeah, Sylvana's barely making it out of there. And there's the Mortar Punisher also now claimed, so the advantage just continues for looking for work. With this, we're actually getting the Sunfire Enchantment. Okay, don't see that all that often on the European side. Usually it's a straight spec into the Flame Strike. Not so here though. That Splintered Spear. Okay, I like it. Swaps Magoo going for a bit more AoE with it. Also more European talent. Having at the same time now the fort already taken out. This is really not a good start for Sleeping Dragon. I mean, it's really not a good start. They're trying to get the kill against Fury here at least, but there's another throw, and the Punisher jumps in, and Shot should die. Shot should fall, and he goes down. Fury actually survives through all of this. This is the first Punisher. Looking for work just took a fort. They have already heroes on the side lanes. They took a kill, and they're actually going to take this wall, aren't they? Wow. 5 minutes in, and they just opened the mid lane up. Up to the keep. Only 1 turret goes down, and, well, survives for the time being. But top lane gets also pressured. This is not a good start at all. Oh, this is problematic, to say the least. Ah, that might be a kill. Droplets. Yeah, there we go. Damage over time. Okay, so maybe a path back into this game has not just been opened up by Sleeping Dragon. They get 2 kills, and that definitely helps to close the experience lead a little bit. Obviously, losing the fort in the middle of the map hasn't really helped their case, but still. We're having 3 kills against 2. Quest completed for Kel'Thas, and there's a lot of AoE damage. I mean, you're talking Lunara and you're talking Kel'Thas, so there's just AoE damage all around. And now we're having also the cold hand taken. Now a bit of a slow. I'm really waiting for level 10 abilities. That's when I want to see what's going on with that. For me, you have of course more than only one nano boost target. Don't get me wrong. It's not only about Malthael here. You have Mephisto in the backline too, so that has to be obvious. But a nano boosted Malthael with a Divine Shield in this setup can do wonders, especially if your opponent doesn't really have too many CC spells. There's a couple there. You have obviously Kel'Thas and Decimate on Garrosh. So much for the taunt that I was just about to point out. So that makes this even easier, I want to say. Yeah, but Fury gets a Decimate value. We have actually seen Mopsio the other day with a similar play in the ALW. Oh, that's 2 kills. Ana down, Sylvana's down. Well, make it 3. It's a triple, baby. Down they go. 6 kills against 2. Level 10 abilities make it possible. You never want to fight into a team that has an advantage through heroic abilities. So, now with that, we're having, well, Pyroblast. And we get the Palm. Alright. On the other side, though, we are now seeing Nana on a boost. We're having Mephisto with Endurance of Hate. And the leap comes in as Lunara is poking, maybe poking a little bit too hard, and there it is. The Tormented Souls for Malthael, as kind of expected. As I said before though, usually you see a bit of a different build when you're trying to go into that particular setup, but let's wait for the objective and see how the 5 versus 5 turns out. Quest complete on level 1, definitely helps Chimera. He's alive, barely, survives through all of this. It's time to shine. And what worries me a little bit is still the droplets factor with Samuro. If the late game, if they open up the map, they can do a whole lot in the late game here. Now, the shrine spawns topside. So we're going to see the next focus. At the bottom of the map, the fort has already taken damage. And in an ideal world, looking for work would try to get level 13 talents, obviously, for the big battle. Which is exactly what we're seeing droplets try to achieve here. Shot is the one that tries to deal with this. I mean, literally, nah, not quite. But like one of the few heroes that has actual CC there. You have obviously the sleep from Ana, and we have the ult from Mephisto. But I would have expected him to be at the top side, also because it's not really that Uther is known for his AOE or anything, for his wave clear. So seeing him all of a sudden trying to meet the Samuro aggression on the lane is a bit awkward. He's making his way up top, so that's going to be a 5 versus 4. But here comes our setup, and now the question is, can they force that fight? They're already trying. There's a sleep, there's a stun, there's the move, and Fury walks out of it. Very few ults used, up to none. Kel'Thas for just a second wanted to go into the Pyroblast, but that was interrupted. And as you can tell, Droplets at the bot lane is just going for the fort. And so I was like, yep, whatever. I'm going to get the fort here. The problem is that even if Sleeping Dragon gets the Punisher, it's a question if can they get more than the fort themselves. Divine Shield is in. Dark Chimera. There's the palm. It gets triggered. And Ana dies. This is a 5 versus 4, ladies. And we have 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. And yeah, that is an unbelievable disaster. A 5 versus 4, granted with a level 13 advantage. Well, actually, that didn't play a role yet because they just got it during the battle. So, an even talented 5 versus 4, and they just team wiped. They just wiped them in a 4 versus 5, while Samuro has taken the bottom fort and the experience on the map. Yeah, that's a feels Batman moment if I've ever seen one. Seriously, that if that doesn't break your spirit, I don't know what does. 11 kills against 2. Looking for Work has a 2-0 lead in this.
And this is crazy. I mean, the dragon was sleeping and it definitely hasn't woken up, I can tell you that much. Like, that dragon has not woken up. That dragon is fast asleep, like it's sound asleep here. I don't know who put the dragon to sleep, if it was Ana or Deckard Cain, but yeah, just shh, be really quiet, the dragon might wake up. So Samuro had to actually get back and it's just like, guys, I need to heal a little bit, like I've been doing too much work on these lanes. And now they're moving in with the Punisher. They have nearly a 2-talent advantage now. That might actually happen since Samuro is taking the experience on the lanes. And they are going for even the keep here. Decimate is in again. And there's the setup against Malthael. He might get the kill against Fury this time. Corgi, booty. Nope. And they might want that booty. And Malthael gets out. The problem is that Samuro gets him level 16. And now after Shikuchi, we're having the harsh winds. We're seeing the Starwood Spear after the Endless Spores. And damn, they are 4 levels ahead now. Yeah, this is... I mean, honestly, you would expect that after all this ass-kicking, the dragon would have finally woken up. But apparently, it has taken some sleeping pills or something. I mean, seriously. That thing just sleeps through everything. Like, I'm the same when it comes to just any kind of technical noises. So if there's like phone notifications, for example, I usually sleep through them like a baby. But if someone would kick my ass as hard as Looking for Work has currently kicked Sleeping Dragon, then I would definitely wake up in the middle of the night, believe me. Like, in this case, though, it's just camp after camp that gets taken. It's nearly a 4-level advantage. The stats alone are insane. And together with that, we have, by the way, a focus into Ignite with Pyromaniac. It's a little bit of a weird build, I want to say. If you're going for Ignite, I'm always more of a fan of people going for Fission Bomb or something like that. It feels like you get a bit more value out of it. Most of the European top players actually go into a Flame Strike build when they're playing Kel'Thas. Again, I should probably say Mena, because he's pretty much the only one who does it. It's not quite. We have seen a few more teams going into Kel'Thas, but Mena is definitely the main one to try and bring him back there. Now with this, we're having the talent advantage. We have a 3-level advantage, and they're trying to go for the keep. It's a 4 versus 4 this time. Top side, that's where we're seeing Droplets going for the booty. He wants the booty, and he already got the booty. But Corgi is running away again, as all Corgis do. Shot at the bottom of the map is also starting to be in a bit of trouble, even though he gets healed by Ana the entire time. And obviously, Samuro is just doing his thing here. Nearly taking down the top side keep. We're having the aggression at the bottom of the map, continuing, and Treebeard is in trouble. And there's the Pyroblast! And as usual, it finds massive value, Kappa. So, Pyroblast down, there's the palm triggered on Garrosh. Yeah, Lunara's already dead, and they're going for Mephisto. They're going for Malthael. First of all, they're going for Sylvanas. And the keep falls at the top side in the meantime. And Dropless just saying, like, boys, just keep them busy. I'm dealing with this shit already. He goes topside, gets the keep, pushes now the mid lane as well, which has already been attacked. Ignores everything that is happening behind it, by the way. Like, Samuro doesn't give a fuck. Samuro is just sitting there, just like, boys, I'm on it. I'm on it. Just, you keep them occupied. You keep them occupied. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. So, yeah, that's now Catapult starting to home in on the core. Shrine is activating in 9 seconds. It's 13 kills against 5. But Samuro is just playing PvE here.
Samuro has just said Blizzard might reclassify the specialists, but I am no way deceived here. I'm still gonna go for my full PvE play, and you know why? Because I can. So yeah, 18 against 16 now. And, well, our main tank for Sleeping Dragon, dear Uther, has died 4 times now. So this main tank Uther double support setup that they're using is having about as much success as it did the first time they played it. To be fair, again, they should have won game number 1. Ah, they might get the kill here. There's the palm, and Droplets is trying to get away, and it actually moves out. So yeah, to be fair, they should have won game number 1. They just made a bad late game decision, and that's the reason why they didn't win the first map. But they should have definitely taken it. But yeah, the North American special, 50% win rate so far. Oh, swaps. No way. What? 36 HP and he gets away, and Uther is dead again. Main tank my ass, baby. So, yeah. 10 kill advantage. And I can't wait for the moment when Samuro just says, you know what, screw the fight, I'm going into the middle again. I'm getting another key. That's gonna happen any second right now. Alright. Oh, Mephisto, nicely done. But Ana and Sylvanas are both down. They get double kill against them though, with now Kalthas and Karazim falling, but it looks like Mephisto is not going to be made for this world much longer either. And the mid lane is pushing aggressively too. They get the interrupt against Corgi, and Samuro was already on the way in the middle and then decided that he's actually going to go for the kill down here as well. And they're going to get that kill, aren't they? There's a move in, and Lunara with a jump. And in the meantime, the mid lane keep is also falling. 20 is ready for them as well, which means that we're talking Flamethrower and Intensifying Toxin. 2 keeps are down. And with this, we're having also... I mean, this... Honestly, this should pretty much... I mean... Nah, this one is also nearly down, so they should be able to push this really towards the core. They have a 3-level advantage, they have a Storm Talent advantage. They're gonna have the Punisher against their opponent. 2 keeps are down, bottom keep is nearly eliminated. If you can't end here, you won't be able to end at all, I think. 37,000 for Mephisto. And they're actually waiting even for the rest of the heroes to make it back here. Even more pressure through the top lane. Samuro play now as he's going for the, for the Shaman Camp to push the lane a little bit harder. But everybody else is focusing their attention now on the bottom of the map. And this pretty much seems like it's going to be a death blow. This should be the final nail in the coffin. The lanes are already pushing against Sleeping Dragon. And that dragon is going to be decapitated pretty quickly here. Looking for Work is really trying to make sure that they're getting the 3rd place in Division S North America. And they're already making the play. Divine Shield is in. Yep, there's the Malthael attempt with the Nano Boost to try and turn it around. But the core is already under attack, and well, nobody has fallen here either. Samuro isn't even part of the fight. So once again, he's actioning it up at the core. And there's 3 down already, 4 down. And that should be it. Only Shot survives, and Swaps Magoo is currently deciding, do I want that kill, do I not want that kill, and he actually decides that that's a great kill. They're chasing it with everybody, and that's another death on Uther, which means that he has now died 6 times in this game, 23 kills against 6, and that's it. Looking for Work victorious in the best of 5 series against Sleeping Dragon. They take the best of 5 in the 3rd place decider match with a 3-0. GG, and well played.
Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support, and see you guys next time.